Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. So much. You know, my favorite meme out there right now is probably the only Friday that we really look forward to the next Monday, and we are looking forward to Monday. Monday is Inauguration Day. Monday is the day that President Trump, the president who was president 45 and will be president 47, takes the oath of office for the second time. We're very excited about it. If you haven't heard, the event that we see on TV has been moved indoors because of weather. A lot of us are happy because it's a security thing too for us because of what happened during the campaign. But it's going to happen on Monday. We're very, very excited about it. Some people, and I don't think I'm one of them, will be broadcasting live or maybe some live tweeting. Yeah, I'll be doing some live tweeting during the event, but we're looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to what happens day one. And Monday will be day one. Excited about it. Anyway, in all of this, here in Florida, Ron DeSantis has announced his pick to replace Marco Rubio in the Senate because Marco Rubio is Trump's pick to be Secretary of State. DeSantis has announced his pick to replace him in the Senate. He announced on Thursday that he has chosen Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody to represent the Sunshine State in the upper chamber of Congress. When announcing Moody's selection, DeSantis said he wanted someone that was going to work with President Trump to deliver on the mandate that he earned from the American people and will lean in against the excessive spending and cut spending and stop the inflation. DeSantis further stated that he wanted someone who understands that the federal bureaucracy is run amok and must be held to account. And we need 3 branches of government, not 4 branches of government. We need somebody that understands the fight against illegal immigration, is willing to shut the border, and importantly, make sure any legal immigration in this country is putting America first. Can't be bringing foreigners in to displace our own people in the key positions. That can't happen. So we are excited about that. I was hoping that he would pick Byron Donalds. I was hoping that he'd pick Byron Donalds, but he's not. Because a birdie told me in my ear that Byron Donalds is going to run for governor. And that would be perfectly okay. That'd be perfectly okay. Again, in this story, the governor said, let me see, that's why today that he's announcing that he is selecting her, Ashley Moody, to serve as our next U.S. Senator. Moody addressed reporters after the DeSantis announcement saying, I like to get things done, focus on problems, solve the problems, deliver to the people that hire you, your bosses, the citizens. There's a lot of deadlock in Washington. She further stated that she is ready to show up and fight for this nation and fight for President Trump to deliver the America First agenda on day one. Moody has served as Florida Attorney General since 2019. Before being elected, she worked in the U.S. State Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, where she focused on drug, firearm, and fraud. She later served as the youngest judge in Florida in 2006 at the age of 31. Moody has been involved in several high-profile legal cases, including lawsuits targeting the Affordable Care Act and efforts to restore voting rights to former felons. She has also participated in consumer protection, anti-human trafficking initiatives, and combating cybercrime. She's also a strong supporter of President-elect Trump and was involved in efforts to challenge the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. She join the Texas lawsuit against states that President Biden won. So what we're getting in place of Marco Rubio is an unabashed Trump supporter. I like Marco a lot, and I supported him in the Florida primary. As a matter of fact, I've told the story before. There were three votes for Republicans in our house. 2 were for Marco Rubio, and one was for Ted Cruz in the 2016 Florida primaries. So I've been a supporter of Marco Rubio for a long time, but I think that Ashley Moody is going to be unabashedly. She's not going to be trying to, walk the line, so to speak. She's going to be unabashedly on the Trump side of this line. So that should really move this agenda forward in a way that we really want it to move forward. Don't you think? Whatever you think, write down in the comments, especially about Byron Donalds. Write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. All right. The next story focuses on Florida as well. Some new developments in Florida, where election integrity concerns have prompted Governor Ron DeSantis to call a special legislative session that's scheduled for January 27th. I guess that's next week. The announcement comes in the wake of a significant report from the state's Office of Election Crimes and Security, which has uncovered extensive petition fraud related to the 2 controversial ballot measures from the November 2024 election. These measures, Amendment 3 regarding recreational marijuana and Amendment 4 concerning abortion, both failed to reach Florida's required 60% threshold for passage. So despite receiving majority support, and this is the deal, if you're going to change something in the Florida Constitution, it's got to be more than 51%. Well, 51% of the people want. It's got to reach a bigger milestone than that. And that milestone, that threshold, is 60%. Florida's Deputy Secretary of State for Legal Affairs and Election Integrity has submitted a comprehensive 900-plus page report detailing widespread fraudulent activities in the petition gathering process. Of particular note, the organization Floridians Protecting Freedom, which backed Amendment 4, has already been fined over $186,000 for violations of state election laws. The investigation has revealed that more than 100 paid circulators committed criminal activities affecting thousands of Florida voters. According to the report, current procedures allowed numerous fraudulent and invalid petition forms to be erroneously validated. In addressing these concerns, Governor DeSantis emphasized the urgency of reform, stating that Florida's Constitution should not be for sale to the highest bidder. The governor highlighted the importance of acting quickly before the next election cycle begins, noting that the current system has proven inadequate for preventing fraud. This special session comes during a week of significant changes in Florida politics, including the governor's appointment of Attorney General Ashley Moody to replace Marco Rubio that we just talked about, who is expected to serve as Secretary of State in the incoming Trump administration. James Utmeyer has been named as Moody's replacement as Attorney General. Deputy Press Secretary Julia Freeland described the current petition process as rife with fraud and outside actors who seek to pay their way into special privileges in the Florida Constitution. For those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, here in Florida, if you go to, I don't know, Publix, if you go to the, somewhere to renew your tag or your license, there's some people out front asking you to sign the petition for this or that. And what happens is, if there are enough, if it reaches a certain threshold, then that ballot initiative gets on the ballot as an amendment to the Constitution, not something that you're saying, hey, there ought to be a law, and it goes through the system as a law because some lawmaker picks it up and goes and writes a bill for it, and it goes through committee and it does the regular thing. No, 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 no. It goes right to the ballot. And there are two ways to do that. There's this petition way, and of course the legislature has a few slots that they can put stuff on the ballot like that themselves. And you can tell the difference. The problem with the process, in my estimation, is this. The problem with the process is that what you see on the petition is not the law. Remember, the law has not been written. If the ballot initiative reaches that 60% threshold, then that means that the legislature has to take that, whatever that is, and then write the law and the procedures and all that stuff afterwards. So it's going backwards through the system. And during that process, it's not really open. There's not the transparency that's needed. See where that's a problem? Now, the people who show up to help the legislature write the laws are the same lobbyists who put together the ballot initiative. Can you see the problem in all of that? Well, of course you can. So, of course, this is rife with fraud. The people who are out there collecting the petition signatures get like $1 or $2 for everyone that signs. Now, you have to say that you're a registered voter to be able to do that. And it would seem to me that if you decided that you've been out there for 8 hours and you'd only have 10 petitions, that somebody might, I don't know, write down some fraudulent names that make $20 instead of 10. You think it might happen? Yeah, and this is a part of the whole deal of, we found that these petitioners have submitted these fraudulent petitions, and this one group has already been fined almost $200,000 for such. Anyway, additional arrests related to petition fraud are expected in 2025. The special session will address both election integrity concerns and illegal immigration issues, as Florida positions itself to work closely with the incoming president on these matters. So, Florida is, we don't talk about it here, but Florida also suffers with a lot of illegal immigration. And I know we hear a lot about the southwestern border because we see the caravans of people just walking into the country with impunity, and we sometimes hear about a small boatload of Haitians that make the trip and get turned around as soon as the Coast Guard finds them. But it is a situation here in Florida as well, and that needs to be addressed. We're going to talk about illegal immigration in just a second here, because this is going to be fun to see. Some breaking news from Washington this evening. Details emerge about the incoming Trump administration's first major immigration enforcement operation. According to the Wall Street Journal report, the new administration plans to launch a significant immigration raid in Chicago next week, marking the beginning of the President-elect Trump's promised deportation campaign. The operation is scheduled to begin on Tuesday, January 21st. On Tuesday, just one day after the inauguration. Sources familiar with the planning indicate that the immigration and customs enforcement will deploy between 100 and 200 officers for this week-long operation. The initiative represents the first step in implementing Trump's campaign pledge to conduct what could become the largest deportation effort in U.S. history. The operation will primarily target individuals in the country illegally who have criminal records, including those of lesser offenses such as driving violations, cases that were typically not prioritized under Biden administration. Sources note that the policy will also allow for the detention of any undocumented individuals encountered in these operations, regardless of criminal history. First people, the people have criminal history. Go here illegally and have criminal history. See ya. Bye. Y'all gotta go. Now, if you're hanging out with these people and you're not supposed to be here either, but you haven't done anything wrong other than break the nation's laws by coming here illegally, yeah, we'll lock you up. We'll lock you up. Now, I'm not sure why anybody thinks it's a problem, but obviously there are people on the left who think it's a problem. Yeah, you're not supposed to be here, which makes you an invader and you get locked up. This ought to, I'm sure once this news gets out to people in Chicago, there's going to be two very desperate, happy and unhappy groups of people. The unhappy group of people will be the left and the illegal criminals that are here. The happy people will be people who live in these neighborhoods who have been begging for some governmental help for the condition of their neighborhoods and were told that there was nothing available and saw some of their schools shut down and refurbished so they could house illegal aliens. Yeah, those people are going to be really happy. They're going to they right over there. There's some right there. Get them. Which ought to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. I'm trying to find some connections in the Chicago area that we can get some information that's on the ground here. That'll be great. I'm excited about it. Really am. Chicago's selection as the first target location appears strategic, with sources citing two main factors: the city's large immigrant population and the ongoing political tensions between the incoming administration and Chicago's Democratic Mayor Brandon Johnson. Now, Johnson is only popular in certain circles. The choice of Chicago also appears to signal the administration's intention to challenge the so-called sanctuary cities, municipalities that limit their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Just have a thought. It's interesting. It's the same; those same cities who would cooperate if the federal government decided to come in your community and take all your guns. They'd be selling you out. You are over there with a gun. I hear he has a gun. I hear he has a gun. These same community leaders would be happy to cooperate with people who have not committed any crimes, just because they would own a firearm. But they have somehow a problem with people who have already broken the law, either by coming here illegally and breaking the law. They somehow don't want to cooperate with the feds on this. Do they have your best interest at heart? The incoming administration has reportedly coordinated with several media outlets to provide coverage of these enforcement efforts. The operation follows statements from Trump's designated border czar, Tom Homan, who has, and we don't like to call him a border czar, but I'd rather call him the border boss. The border boss, I like that better. Who has previously indicated that immigration enforcement actions would begin on day one of the new administration. This initiative comes at a time when polling suggests significant public support for stricter immigration enforcement, including among Hispanic voters, are saying that, following widespread concerns about border security during the previous administration. Of course, this is a developing story, and we will continue to provide updates as more information becomes available. My name is Willie Lawson. This is The Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn to love somebody. And for goodness sakes, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.